How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher, all new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
It's Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Ornaments.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, fishing is hazing. It's hazing.
Oh, no, don't do this.
To make contestants fish for one of their final 3. A final 3 quickfire challenge that gives the winner an advantage in the crucial pre-finale elimination final and make them sing for their supper or fish for their challenge or whatever. It's undignified.
It was great TV. It was great TV. It was fun. It was great to see Adrian just kind of wallowing and just saying, oh, I almost got one. Oh, wait, no. The clock's ticking down. There's 28 minutes, 26 minutes left, 22. And it's going bum, 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 bum. You know, it was great. I thought it was awesome. And as a fisherman myself that has been out there on the lake or out on the pier in North Carolina on Oak Island and just sat there for hours, I know what it's like to be Adrian, but I also know what it's like to be Joe Flam getting that fish right off the bat. I love that wrinkle. You're just not having fun. You don't like fun.
I hate fun. For our viewers, the challenge was to work with mountain rainbow trout or mountain trout. But the catch is the challengers had to catch their fish. It is clear on this broadcast which one of us is a fisherman and which one of us is like a Jewish guy who lives in Los Angeles who believes that I like to go fishing. I take a number at the counter. And then there's a guy in a white smock who says, what looks good? And then I ask about the sea bass or the halibut or the sole. And this is my version of cooking. I suspect that our contestants feel similarly. And I really thought Adrian was going to get screwed, and she kind of did get screwed out of this. They had 40. The challenge requires it's a 40-minute challenge that required at least a third, almost a half of that time be devoted to outsmarting a fish.
Look, I have fished in Colorado, actually on the Eagle River, right outside of Denver. Okay, right by Beaver Creek there. It's fun. They got some big fish. Those are some big trout.
I don't know. You know what, man? If I'm gonna spend some time trying to seduce another living thing, I better be sleeping with them at the end of the night.
Well, look, Adrian. Her mistake was not that she took too long. It was that she didn't understand that you can't have a a sashimi rainbow trout.
Can I ask you a question? Could you have, one thing I thought was gonna happen was, can you just roll up your pants and take that big ass net? Because they clearly put trout in that pond, right? Like, yes. Okay. Couldn't you have just gone in there and just like swiped with a damn net, like, and just kind of done that? Because that's what I would have done.
I think unless you get it on the first try, they're going to be up. They're going to know your antics. They're going to know that that being standing on the side is my death. So I think unless you get one clean swipe at a fish, I think that's going to be a bad method. But it would have been funny. It would have been funny to watch.
No, and you mentioned it. So Adrian, I didn't know either. Apparently, you cannot do a crudo or a raw sashimi of a mountain fish because, as our judge said, the bear does shit in the woods, and apparently he shits upstream in a river. And if you serve trout crudo, you are essentially serving like the bear shit special.
And I don't think Padma knew this either, because after Chris mentioned that, Chris Constantino, she was like, wait, should I not eat that anymore? So she wasn't. I mean, Adrian didn't know. I don't think Joe Sasto, I think Joe in the commentary afterwards, he said, well, I'm glad I'm screwed up and actually cooked through my trout, even though I wanted it to be al dente.
Yeah. So, and it was an interesting challenge. I mean, once we got out of the pond, and so Adrian has absolutely no time. So she goes with a very barely seared. And I love crispy trout skin, I have to say. She does a barely pan seared trout with a ponzu vinaigrette. This very lovely kind of crispy skin, that kind of chicharrones fish skin that you're starting to see on a lot of restaurants, some fried rice paper. It looked delicious, and by all accounts, the sauce was delicious. But the judges refused to eat it for concerns for their health and intestinal fate.
When it comes to fish, like I like my steak rare, right? But when it comes to fish, it's either uncooked, like raw crudo style, or it's cooked through. I'm not a huge fan.
Oh, I love that. Like, you like get the tuna or the salmon, and it's just like seared on the outside, and it's kind of sashimi-ish on the inside. I love that.
Yeah. Okay, tuna steaks. Okay, like I'm okay with that. But the idea of like a trout that's half cooked, for some reason, that idea of like a fillet of trout that's half cooked, that doesn't seem appetizing to me. But you're right. It's hypocritical if I like a very rare tuna.
So she was out, and then we have the two Joes. Joe Flam does a pan-seared trout with this kind of black garlic beurre blanc with a fennel, with a fennel and mushrooms and asparagus. Looked quite good. And what else did we have? And then we had Joe Sasto, who did some rillettes, some smoked trout rillettes with delicious looking corn cakes and a berry glaze. I'm kind of liking this sort of Colorado theme. That time of year in Colorado, we saw Carrie kind of play around with the berry glaze as sort of a compliment to kind of like mountainy, hearty cooking. And that looked really good too.
Joe Sasto confessed that this was the first time he butchered a fish.
Did you butcher a fish? You clean a fish, right?
Well, he said, yeah, you clean a fish, but he said butcher. He said, this is the first time I've ever butchered a fish in my career. And I was stunned by that. How have you been a chef or a cook for 20 years, 30 years, Joe, and you've never cleaned a fish before?
Yeah, I was a little surprised. The first time you
clean a fish is in like the finals of Top Chef?
For my birthday last year, my boyfriend took me to a Japanese, like a whole morning, like 4-hour cooking class. You meet at the market. You meet at the fish market at 6:30 a.m. really early. You get your stuff. You go back to this loft, and then you kind of learn the basics of kind of Japanese cooking. Learn how to do a dashi, mirin and sake and soy, kind of the very basics of Japanese cooking. And I had to clean a fish, and it was quite fun. It was a little satisfying. I mean, it does present problems around the house. You do have to walk that stuff outside in your driveway trash can, but I had fun cleaning the fish. And that said, I won't do it again.
Last year,
that's what we have guys in white smocks for.
Yeah, last year I went to Oak Island with my in-laws, which is a beach about an hour north of Myrtle Beach on the North Carolina coastline, and you can shark fish off the shore, which is kind of scary. I'd like to say that
By the way, hold on one second. The Outer Banks had a bunch of shark attacks in the last few years. That got to be a very sharky place.
Yeah, and it's recently so. It's not recency bias, but recently so. There have been a lot more, not just shark incidents or sightings, but also shark fishing off the shore. Maybe that's related. That there's a lot more fishermen that I've seen anecdotally actually trying to catch like mako sharks off the shore. And these two guys were fishing. And they were fishing for mako sharks off the shore, and they caught one, and it was amazing. I filmed it. It was this time last year, and I filmed it. It was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Caught on my phone. And I said, what do you use for bait? And he's like, oh, I gut a fish, and then I throw it in a bucket outside and leave it there just to rot for 2 days straight. 48 hours of letting this fish just rot in the sun, 80 degrees, 90 degree North Carolina sun, beating down and letting this fish just fester, throws it on a hook, hopefully with gloves on, and then sharks just go nuts for it. And I thought that was disgusting.
That is disgusting. By the way, 4 attacks in 2014, 8 attacks in 2015, 3 attacks in 2016. North Carolina has seen a surge of attacks in the last 10 years. And I think it's this guy's fault.
It is. And now we're not going to be able to eat fish again. So that's good.
So Joe Flam, despite the fact that his skin was not crispy, wins the challenge. As a result, he gets an advantage when the advantage ends up being the last 3 eliminated contestants, Carrie, Chef Chris, and Bruce are presented as sous chefs. And he chooses Carrie, interestingly, assigns Bruce to Adrian based on the fact that he does not want to put 2 Italian Italian cooking chefs together in Joe Sasto and Bruce. And then Joe inherits Chef Chris. And it's an interesting challenge. I was shocked by the parameters. I don't know about you. But in a final 3, basically, only thing standing between you and the finale is this challenge. They lay out the challenge. It's going to be vegetarian only. And the prime heat source has got to be a cowboy cauldron, which is basically a wood-fired drum. They got to produce 200 portions in 3 hours for the Aspen Food and Wine Classic, which is like the Sundance Film Festival of food. It is where every notable chef in the country, across the world, it is one of the premier culinary events in the world. I'm dying to go myself sometimes. So it's a huge thrill for them, but they have to basically cook vegetarian food and an outdoor wood-fired drum for 200 of the notable people in 3 hours. And Judge Danielle Boulud is going to be from Danielle, one of the more refined, notable restaurants in New York City. You're talking about kind of a generational Hall of Fame chef is going to be among the judges.
This kind of felt like right before the NBA Finals, if Adam Silver, the commissioner, just said, all right, everyone, you are no longer allowed to use your left hand.
Yes.
It's like, wait, no, I want to see them cook protein on these cauldrons from like the medieval times. Like that would be so amazing to watch. Like throw on a ribeye or throw on a leg of lamb onto that. And that's what I want to see is a protein. And then it's like, wait, you're not going to be able to use meat on that cauldron? That seemed kind of backwards to me.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I do like protein to be on the table. I don't mind. I find constraints fun. I mean, I think some of the better challenges this season in general on the show are when they sort of whittle down the contestants to the bare necessities or have them cook in the woods or camping. And I do think that can be a fun thing. This late in the game, I prefer, like you do, I think, to get the kind of the full palette of options in terms of proteins and whatnot. And maybe you could have made it. I would have loved a lamb challenge. Like lamb would have been really great. Mountains. I think you still could have done the cauldron. And it's really interesting. I mean, I'm kind of thinking going in. Who has the advantage here? And I didn't really come up with an answer. I was like, does this help? I mean, I think the question when you put limitations on any challenge is who gets helped, who gets hurt. Like we knew this season that if you started taking away tools, Carrie was going to perform well. She is, in the words of Joe Flam, a mountain woman, right? Like there's a resourcefulness to her game that chefs who have been dolling it up in fine places in San Francisco or Chicago don't have in their tool shed. And but on this one, in terms of vegetarianism, like I didn't really have a I didn't have an answer. I thought Joe Sasto, given his propensity for pasta, which is essentially can be it's not a meat dish, but you can get so much substance from. I was absolutely convinced, even though I know that it was a wood drum and they're looking for char, that I thought he would be able to do a pasta. He would maybe char the components into a sauce or something, but ultimately go to his old trick, which is pasta. And I was shocked that he didn't.
I'd love to ask him, because I feel like maybe that was a limitation that we didn't know, or a constraint that we didn't know, that they had to feature the vegetable as like the star of the show.
Right. And again, I could see the rationale against it, which is, hey, look, this is a wood-fired drum challenge, and it's clear from the judges' table that they wanted char. Like, that was a thing they wanted in the final dish. So you could say, look, pasta kind of negates that. And if you're going to do pasta on a wood drum, how do you even do it? Do you boil the water? Do you and they had a full kitchen to their disposal, I think, but or semi-full. But I was shocked that he didn't take the opportunity, given for what pasta can do for vegetables. That if you are given a meatless challenge, how pasta can provide sort of a substance, and given how gifted he is at preparing pasta, I was shocked he didn't go with it. And okay, then you char a sauce. Or sauce of charred vegetables. And instead, Joe Sasta goes with a beet carpaccio, and I love beets. And I think beets are a fantastic meat substitute. But that's the direction he goes in. He's going to do it with a sourdough toast. He's going to have like a beet yogurt, a gooseberry relish. He puts like the log. He does try to go for the char. He puts the log in the embers with. He wraps the golden beets in foil, which is a great tactic, and dumps them in the fire. But that's how he goes. But I was shocked he didn't do that. Mm-hmm.
When you saw him put the embers in the sauce or whatever, I was just thinking of my mouth being just peppered with splinters.
Oh, I don't think it's like he just dumps a tree in there or something.
I mean, he dumped like an entire charred log into his soup, his sauce. That was amazing. I've never seen that. I didn't even know you could do that. I thought you would just get a bunch of, sprinkles of char in there. And I don't know if that was. I don't know why I think that was so foreign to me, but I thought that was genius.
Yeah, I'm really ignorant. I got to be honest with you. Like, I've never smoked anything. Well, I've smoked plenty of things, but I've never smoked any food. I don't have a green egg. I haven't kind of toyed with Gravlox, which is sort of every year I say this is as much as I love lox and kind of grew up on smoked sable and all that stuff. Like, I've never in my life cold smoked anything, hot smoked anything. I don't have an egg. This is sort of a huge hole in my knowledge. I don't even really understand the chemistry behind it. My friend Steve Daly is sort of my house smoker. Like, he's so brilliant with this stuff. We do the Super Bowl every year. He comes over at 7 a.m. and starts the fire and does it all day. And I'm just kind of watching. I have recused myself from all smoking activities, and I know nothing about this technology.
Listener, listen up. This is important. Okay, I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's D-I-N-G-S. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with the cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings. Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the Dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Yeah, but the whole dumping of the log itself, the embers into the sauce, that was cool. But he didn't see Joe Sasto. He didn't seem like he knew what his vision was. Like he seemed like he was struggling a little bit, and that's why I kind of feel like there might have been like a secret pasta constraint here, because usually he is like, you know what, I do pasta. I do classical cooking. I know what I'm going to be doing, and here I go.
Well,
and this time it seemed like it was just wallowing a little bit.
And what did him in is one of the things that did him in, ironically, is that sourdough bread, which they did not like. And I wonder, again, it was clearly an intention to get some starch on the plate, right? To get a little bit of, just kind of get a little bit of weight outside of the vegetables. And I wonder if that that sourdough toast had been, I don't even know.
It would have been
one raviolo, although you have to do 200 of them. I mean, that's the other thing is what I think constraint might have been is how do you do pasta for 200 people in that amount of time? And I think that's probably the constraint. Now that I'm talking it through, I'm like, wait a minute, of course. You got to do pasta for 200 people.
Carrie is looking at this being like, your toast wasn't fancy enough.
It's funny. Isn't it ironic that Joe Sasta, who's been giving Carrie some good-natured shit. I mean, he's not being he's not being a dick. He's just talking. But for all the toast, one of the things that did him in was that sourdough toast. Like you said, had the toast been fancy, Joe Sasto might be moving on to the finale. As it is, he was eliminated. Adrian has a really big vision. It's very interesting. She gets put with Bruce, and Bruce is full of suggestions. Bruce has been cooking for years, and Bruce.
Oh, is that what you're calling it? Suggestions?
He was bossy. Is basically the implication. Yes. He was freaking bossy. He was kind of was he a little bit of a know-it-all? Is that the interpretation from the tape?
I mean, he didn't seem like the sous chef. He seemed like the executive chef, and there was some kind of like gender dynamics going on there, where Adrian mentioned that when the chefs were walking up, or the guests were walking up to the station, to her stand, they kind of felt like Bruce was the winner, and she was the one who was the sous chef. And that dynamic, I thought, was throwing her off. And I know the editing of the show kind of was spinning that narrative, was that Adrian was kind of losing it because she felt like Bruce was taking over a little too much. Yeah, and she really vindicated herself.
It's interesting. She had, I think, the most stops and starts of all the chefs in terms of planning. But I thought this was like when one of the narratives when we cover an NBA game, like a team that doesn't have their best game but still pulls it through. Like this to me seemed like one adversity after another. She decides she's going to go with an elevated southern corn pudding. She's going to wrap it in a Swiss chard leaf. And every single turn she was thwarted. She wanted to do tempura shishito peppers. It's not happening, so they became charred shishito peppers. She wanted to do lovely little lime pearls. Wasn't happening, became a lime gelée. The pudding wanted to be firm. Too bad, it's too soft. Now we're adding coconut flakes, right? Like every time she tried to execute one component of the dish, she was thwarted. Whether it was the drum, whether it was the altitude, whatever it might have been, she was thwarted. Yet she fought on, and she put together the components became mushroom, a champagne broth that might have been a little thin, but we don't know. There wasn't a hell of a lot of char, but she stuck with that southern corn pudding wrapped in the Swiss chard leaf. And interestingly enough, in the poetic kind of virtue that I love with her newfound game, which is she won on she didn't win the challenge, but she got through on flavor, on seasoning,
and this was, in my opinion, a microcosm of her in general.
Exactly.
On the show, is that she tripped up in the beginning. She seemed a little lost, and then kind of found herself and came through when it mattered. And in the first 3 episodes of this season, Adrian was on the bottom 3 in each episode. And she didn't win her first elimination challenge until 2 episodes ago. And she is now in the final. And I think this dish, I was kind of surprised just by the look of it. I didn't think it was all that aesthetically pleasing. I didn't see the. It
looked like porridge.
It looked like porridge, and then you throw a shishito on there, and we all know that shishitos are super big these days. They're on practically every appetizer menu that you find in America, and it wasn't even charred. And I just thought that this dish wouldn't jump off the plate like it did. The judges loved this dish.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I think that was revealed is she won on creativity. She is the most creative. She was the most creative chef down the stretch. She has been the most creative chef down the stretch. And it's close because Joe Sasta is a really creative chef, but she is the chef that can bring the brightness, the spice, the contrast between kind of heat and homeliness. I mean, that is who she has become, and so not only does she bring technique, she took care of the seasoning element, and she's become increasingly creative.
And there was a moment there with her being basically Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm, where Tom Colicchio just won't shut up.
Oh God, as somebody who kind of gets into his own work wise, like as someone who doesn't want to yap in the press room when we're on deadline, Like that part of me was just like, I was so in. I felt you, Adrian, at that moment. Like people talking at you when you're trying to concentrate. Stop talking at me.
And you're trying to be polite with one-word answers and just being very curt and concise.
By the way, this is why I can't work in an office, Tom. This is why I cannot work in an office. I cannot be in a cubicle. I cannot. The dude who stops by your cubicle to talk. Like I've dealt with that. I can't do it. This is why I work at home.
And Tom Colicchio just was not picking up the signals.
Oh, I think he knows. I think he knows he's hazing them.
You think it was on purpose?
Oh, he knows. He's like, he finds the most vulnerably stressed out chef, and he goes and yaps at them about some freaking, like, endeavor from the early 2000s, back when he was, no. He is very deliberate about wanting to fuck with them, yes. That's at least my instinct.
Yeah, and then he, I think it was it Joe Flam's dish that he was very harsh on? Was it Joe Flam or no? I think it might have been Joe Sasto. He didn't save his fury for Adrian.
No,
a little bit.
Right. No, so Joe Flam of the three chefs goes with the most rustic, most simple. I don't want to say least creative. I mean, I think all of them are creative, but I think just something that kind of in a comfort zone. Now, he's going to grill baby zucchini to order, which is a really good idea, as Joe Sasto says. Like, at the end of the day, it was a smart way to go for a 200-person challenge. And he's going to top it with hazelnut zucchini pesto, which he makes from a charred big zucchini, mushroom vinaigrette, a little goat cheese, some nuts, some raw asparagus salad. It's a pretty little plate. Now, Tom rightly points out that baby zucchini doesn't really taste like much. As somebody who does this sort of, there's a squash dish I love to do, kind of a summer squash casserole, very southern. I have found that like baby zucchini is just kind of, it's just kind of watery. Like it doesn't have like that squashy flavor. And that was one of Chef Tom's big complaints. And it was more rustic than the creative swing for the fences that the other two chefs took. However, what Joe Flam got that the other two did not get, as you mentioned previously with the shishito, is Joe Flam got the char. And he understood fundamentally. It's very interesting, and it's something that a lot of our guests have talked about, that it's about knowing what there's the ostensibly what we think the challenge is about, but what the challenge is actually about. And it became very clear when Gail Simmons showed up and Tom got in on the action that like what they were looking for is, could you use that cowboy cauldron to get the woodsy smokiness that we're looking for? It's not about, oh, hey, do the best thing with vegetables or even feature the vegetable. Yeah, we don't care. This clearly was a challenge when they wanted char. And they rewarded the chef that gave them char, and they punished the chef that didn't give them char.
I thought that was an awesome dish. I would have loved to eat it. It was what I called a zucchini canoe. It looked delicious.
That's cute. I like that, Tom.
The zucchini canoe takes the cake here for Joseph Flam. He makes the sweep. He wins the quick fire and the elimination challenge. And your boy is rising from the dead.
Yeah, what's the score? What's the score?
Well, you're still down by 100 points. But
what do I get for if he wins the whole thing?
We never actually put the number on it. Right now, you're down 262 to 147.
Oh, I'm screwed. Okay.
So it's not. I don't think the margin is quite surmountable for you.
Yeah.
And unless we say that Joe Flam, if he wins, he gets 125 points, which I don't think is very fair. But you are. You might have the winner of Top Chef on your roster, Kevin.
It's very interesting. It's funny too, because I've become a sentimental favorite for Adrian, as any listener to this show knows. Like, I just love the trajectory. I just love her food. I mean, that's the other thing is I'm just that of the chefs that are remaining, Adrian's the menu that I would, I tend to do fish forward menus. I tend to avoid kind of rustic pot like Italian. It's not my big thing. She's such a beautiful technical chef. And but I'm excited that I do have representation with Joe Flam, who I love all three of these chefs. By and large, I love most of these chefs this season. But Adrian continues to be fascinating. She might here's the thing.
Called it early on.
Here's the thing. I think she's going to win. I think she's going to win, and I'll tell you why. What is the finale, Tom? What are the defining features of a Top Chef finale meal? Like, what does a chef have to do?
I mean, it's precision, it's vision, it's technicality. You have to show your skills, and you have to be focused.
And you got to nail your protein.
You got to know your protein. You got to. I mean, she's got all the elements. But
I think
you know what?
she is a finale. She is a finale chef if I've ever seen one. You take away all the rules, just rely, as you say, on all those things you talked about. I think Adrienne is the perfect finale chef.
That might be. That might be. And I gotta admit, like, she did so much better on this episode than I thought. Like, I thought, given all the constraints, the Bruce pairing was not her first choice. That was Joe Flam's choice. And she just rose above, and she has been flying. I mean, in the last 4 weeks under our point system, she's at 10, 9, 23, and 10. She's just bringing it every single time. And even though she wasn't able to catch a fish until 22 minutes left, and even though she was dealt a huge blow by Chris, the guest judge, by saying, "I have shit on my food that you prepared for me," she rallied, and here she is coming into the final episode with all the momentum. I know Joe Flam won this past episode, but I kind of feel like Adrienne is the hotter chef right now.
Yeah, I do too. And let's just say, like, who's going to win that dessert course next week?
Yeah, it's going to be
Adrienne's going to win the dessert course. All right, so 1 point right there. I mean, I think she can take 2 out of 3. I think she will do some fish dish that she brought with her in her back pocket, and she is going to unleash it. I think she is as well equipped for a finale performance as any chef we've seen in recent years. I just think her skill set is perfect for that kind of challenge. Now, by the way, Joe Flam's a hell of a chef, man. Like, I mean, it'd be ridiculous for me to count him out. But I will take on the morning line. Like, let's set the morning line. I mean, what do you think? If truly there was a Vegas line, I mean, put my biases aside, and I actually clearly have a bias toward Adrienne, just in terms of personal taste. What do you think the morning line is?
You know, I think it's kind of even. I can't put a favor on it. Yeah, it might be a pick 'em.
Pick 'em.
Because Adrienne doesn't have the full repertoire, right? The full overall track record, because she really struggled finding her way until halfway through the season. But I mean, she has just been dominating out of the last few weeks. So I'd like to say that Joe Flam, coming off the quickfire and elimination challenge victory, that he's got it. I mean, he's finished. He won the last one. He didn't win the previous episode, but he came back and finished in the high one. He came back from Last Chance Kitchen. I feel like it's a pick'em. What do you think?
I think it's a pick'em too. What's going to be very, very interesting is if Adrienne wins, is this among, not only upset in a finale, I'm talking about from episode 1. Would this be the most monumental comeback ever? Like, would this be the biggest shocker ever?
It's a great question. I think I'm going to have to dig into that for the next episode and see if she wins. And even if she doesn't win, the fact that she was able to get to the finals in the first place after being in the low for 3 straight weeks out of the start gate, that I can't imagine that's been precedent.
I mean, I'm trying to think of, Nicholas. No, he was, I'm trying to think of who, we've had some, often I think you can look in the first 4 weeks and identify the favorite. I don't know that we could have looked 8 weeks in anybody. And I don't want to put her in a Hosea Rosenberg category, kind of the much maligned Hosea Rosenberg from season 5 as somebody who, because I think her game is so advanced. But it would truly be, I think, one of the biggest shockers vis-a-vis like episodes 1 through 4. Like, who in their right mind after 1 month said, yeah, Adrienne's got this?
I could be wrong, but according to my analytics, there has never been someone who had 3 lows, finished in the bottom 3 straight times to start the season ever, period.
Now, there are some asterisks right there. Like, she got, I think one of those was team. One of them was Claudette didn't know how to smoke fish, cold smoke fish.
But it just to show you, I mean, I'm sure in the history of Top Chef, there have been Adrian type weird quirks to happen, but they simply haven't happened for 3 straight weeks to open the season. And the closest comp, I guess, you could point to is Marcel from season 2.
Okay.
Marcel came out with 2 straight lows in the first 2 weeks, finished in the middle in the 3rd episode, didn't win his entire elimination challenge career up into that season, up to that point, until the 12th episode. And then he got his first win, and then he finished as a runner-up in that season too. So I think that's the comp here for Adrian.
Right. There's truly, I mean, this would be an extraordinary win.
No doubt.
Let's talk about Flam, because, Flam's had a really interesting season. He is, solid pedigree. I was huge. I kind of, had him pegged as like my error-free cooking. Like, that's just a guy who's not going to screw up much. He was asserting himself right before the moment he was eliminated as probably the strongest chef. He was the star of Restaurant Wars, a guy who operates both from an executive level, front of the house, good kind of prep instincts, just knows how to prepare eventful meals, right? I mean, this is what this guy does. Goes in, gets bounced after his big win, works his way back through Last Chance Kitchen, and then has some hiccups even since. I mean, it hasn't been a perfect ride. He has not, but has kind of found his way into the finale, and himself a very interesting trajectory.
He wasn't necessarily in Last Chance Kitchen for as long as Kristen was. Kristen's just a juggernaut. Was dominating the season until she was voted out. She had to pack her knives in episode like 7 or 8, and then was in Last Chance Kitchen, fighting her way for like 5 straight weeks, and then came in with, in the final 2 episodes, and then won the whole thing. This Joe Flam has been very, very good and came back from Last Chance Kitchen. I think he beat Brother to get back in. I don't know. Do we have to look at some point as, if you come back from Last Chance Kitchen, does that give you a leg up or something like that? I don't know, because Joe Flam, again, it's a pick'em. Adrian, as hot as she's coming into the finale, Joe Flam has the personality. I think everyone loves him. You saw when he got voted out, the whole room just turned into a puddle, just tears. And so not only is he a lovable chef, but he's also extremely talented.
Yeah, it's going to be a good finale. I think it's going to be really well. We even got a teaser from I think from the episode on Thursday night where what did Padma say is the best finale food she's ever had, which is insane because if you think about like season 10 finale, you think about the the Paul Key episode in season 9 in Texas. There have been some really good finale meals. Generally speaking, there's always this golden kind of hue over the finale where, generally speaking, these are great chefs making great food. I can't remember the last time like there was anything other than really top level cooking on the finale, according to the judges. So, and yet we got a teaser that Padma thinks this is among the best finale meals she's ever had.
Okay, let's make a prediction.
I've got Adrian. And for the reasons I stated, I just think that it is the finale is an event that rewards technicality, and it rewards refinement. And obviously, both these chefs have both of those things, but I just think those are calling cards for Adrian.
I'm going with Adrian too. Is that lame that we're both on the same side on this one?
No. I like being agreed with.
She's on my team. I'm rooting for her.
I'm rooting for her as well. I'm rooting for Joe Flam as well for that reason. I'm rooting for both. I have no dog in the fight, though I do love the Adrian story.
Yes. So I think Adrian is maybe the slight favorite at the Pack Your Knives table, but generally I think Vegas would put this as a pick'em.
Yeah, it's a pick'em.
Hey, listen, before we go, J.R. Smith was suspended by the Cleveland Cavaliers, a starting shooting guard for the Cavaliers, for throwing a bowl of soup at his assistant coach, former Cavs, Damon Jones. Your reaction?
Soup is dangerous. That's hot. I mean, was that
hot?
right off the
boil?
boil?
And is it chunky? Is it a chunky soup?
Or like split pea? By the way, most underrated soup is split pea soup with good ham and good smoked ham.
Not a fan of pea, although my daughter, her favorite food is peas, like green peas. Ooh. She can't stop eating green peas, and I've never been a fan of peas.
It is about to be English pea season in Los Angeles soon, and I'm very excited because that is the source of my purees that I then put proteins over for all summer and do little schmears on the plate that I learned how to do with the back of a spoon. And when I get all chefy, peas have enabled that pretentious process.
If someone threw soup at you, Kevin, what soup would be the most aggravating? Is it a tomato bisque?
Yeah, I would think because the coloring is because that's the whole thing. Like matzo ball, you can deal with,
although it could hurt a little bit.
Yeah, if you have a really starchy matzo ball, but if you have a fluffy matzo ball, I think it would be a good test of how your matzo balls are. I'm gonna say something that's gonna get me excommunicated.
Oh no,
matzo ball. What is a matzo ball? Oy. I mean, I know it has some cultural weight, so to speak, but matzo balls are gross. Like, I mean, you just really think about them. It's just an unappealing thing. I mean, the best matzo ball is an average food. Do you know what I mean?
Matzo ball soup at Josh's Deli in Sunrise, Florida, right outside of Miami, is so good. Like I visited Miami this past week, and like that was on my brain for most of the 2 days that I was in Miami. I went to Sandwichery for lunch yesterday.
Oh,
delicious!
I love Sandwichery.
The prosciutto and mozz, the Napoli with lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles.
And those little pickles are good.
The cornichons, yes, the French little tiny pickles, and then the vinaigrette, which is so good. I actually saw the other day that for Sobe Wine and Food Festival, that Joe Flam and Bruce Kallman went to Sandwichery late night. I was so proud to see that. So yeah, it was a great couple days of food.
Nice.
And for dinner the other night, Dan Lebitard, Pablo Torre, Amin El Hassan, and Dan's girlfriend, we all five of us went to Ola. Did you go to Ola?
I have not been to Ola.
Oh, the crudos and ceviches there are so good, top notch. So shout out to Brian and Zach Lieberman from Ola, and it was a great week of food, a great couple days in Miami, and I can't wait till you and I go back to do a Miami return in the food scene.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, no, Ola, I've heard wonderful things. I saw some of the Instagrams. La Sandwichiere, as you know, a Zydrunas Ilgauskas favorite. My favorite La Sandwichiere is the pate on croissant with, you got to get red onion on it though, like, because it gives it that, it kind of bite, it cuts through that, that rich pate, and those pickles and that vinaigrette is so good. And we love Miami food is just great. I'd love to meet you down there sometime. I'm actually angling for a Toronto-Miami first-round series in the NBA playoffs because that would be one of the great Eastern Conference food matchups of all time, and that would be a wonderful thing. And I had a great in Boston, in Somerville, Massachusetts. One of my favorite restaurants in America is called Sarma, and it is a delicious kind of Caucasus, Middle Eastern, Central Asian, a little Eastern Europe food, and that's the shtick there. And I go there with our friend Paul Flannery, and I've been going. I think I've been 3 times in the last 5 years on the Friday night of the conference we often attend at MIT Sloan. And Sarma is just a great restaurant in a city that I've always been a little skeptical on, but it is a wonderful, savory Ottoman delight.
Well, Kevin, I am excited for the finale, Top Chef. I'm kind of sad that it's already ending. I feel like we just started this podcast, Kevin.
I know. It is. It has been too short, but looking forward to next week on Pack Your Knives, of rehashing really the entire season. Hopefully we can get some voices from the show on, and I'm looking forward to it, Tom.
Thanks, Kevin.
This is Pack Your Knives.